Hello and welcome. Kia ora, haere mai. You're with Lilia Tarawa. You're posting, you're creating reels, you're showing up consistently. You've invested hours over the last few weeks trying to build momentum. And yet you get no comments, no DMs, no real signal or sign that anything is working, and it feels slow. It feels quiet. And after a while, it starts to mess with your head. You're beginning to wonder if you're wasting time. You start consuming more content instead of creating your own. You know what I mean, right? You scroll, you compare, you're tweaking, you try it again, and still it feels like you're putting in effort and getting nothing back. If that's where you are at, this episode is for you, and I want to ground you, because the problem is not work ethic. It's not that you're incapable, and it's not that the algorithm has decided you don't matter and you're invisible. The issue is usually a lot deeper than that. When you're putting in effort and getting no response, it doesn't just hurt your engagement, it chips away at your confidence. You start questioning your message, you start questioning your value, you wonder if you're even cut out for this, or if you need to rethink your entire strategy, burn it all to the ground, and that spiral is dangerous because it pushes you into comparison and overconsumption instead of leadership and creative power. You scroll more, you're studying other people's content, trying to reverse engineer what they're doing, but more effort doesn't automatically create better results. Imagine going fishing every day. Every single day you wake up early, you drive to the lake, you cast your line out again and again, but there's no bait on the hook. So you can blame the lake, you can blame the season, you can blame the fish, but if there's nothing specific on that hook, nothing is going to bite. And you can see how that applies to your content, right? You can post daily, you can show up consistently, but if there isn't something clear and compelling in what you're saying, people have nothing to latch onto. The issue isn't your effort, it's what's on the hook. Sometimes it's where you're casting your line, and if you're measuring the wrong thing or building in the wrong place, it will feel painfully slow. And this feels disheartening. But it's not random and it's not personal. There are real reasons this is happening and why your content isn't getting traction, and there's real ways to fix it. So let's walk through them. Here's something that might surprise you. I don't get thousands of comments on each post. I don't have explosive engagement on every reel. And there were seasons where I could have looked at my Instagram and thought, this is slow, this isn't working. But during one of those seasons, something happened that changed the way I measure growth forever. I was being invited to speak on podcasts. I was stepping onto radio stations. I was speaking on keynote stages at business conferences. My name was circulating in rooms that had nothing to do with my Instagram comment section. My bank account was healthy with client payments. And I remember sitting there thinking, why does this actually feel momentum even when my feed is so quiet and slow? And that's the moment that it clicked for me. Engagement on your page is only one metric, but it's not the most important measure of a healthy, sustainable business. Now, I've seen influencers with millions of views who don't earn any money from their followers. And I've also seen business owners with very small followings who have helped build multi-million-dollar companies and who are seven-figure earners. I've helped clients make over $500,000 in profit from one project without that lead coming in from their website or online world. Big view counts and real income are not the same thing. Hundreds of likes and paying clients are not the same thing. And I realized that to build something lasting, I needed to focus on becoming a market leader and making actual sales, not just getting likes and comments. Here are 3 reasons that you're posting but feeling frustrated by getting no engagement, no DMs, and no clients. So number 1 is you're posting content, but you're not staking a claim. Right now, you are showing up. You're providing epic value, you're being thoughtful, intelligent, helpful, but you're editing out the parts of you that make you different. You know what I mean, don't you? You're keeping it safe. You're playing by the rules. You're being politically correct. You're doing everything by the book. You're people-pleasing and speaking in a way that ensures no one feels uncomfortable in your space. And here's a hard truth you might not want to hear. Safe content is not thought leadership. It's not pioneering. It's not interesting. When your content feels safe, people politely consume it and move on. They might think, oh, that's nice, that's cool, but they don't feel disrupted, challenged, provoked, or compelled to respond. And the reason you're doing this in the first place is likely because you want change, and that requires those inside emotions to happen. Engagement increases when you clearly say what you believe and what you don't, when you challenge the way your industry thinks, when you make someone feel uncomfortable because you've said the thing they have been thinking but haven't articulated it yet. That is leadership in your industry. If someone lands on your page and they can't quickly tell what you stand for and exactly how you help them solve a specific problem, there is nothing there for them to grab onto. There's no bait on your hook. There's nothing for them to respond to. So here's how you fix this immediately. Write down one strong belief about your industry that goes against the grain, something you learned from experience, something you lived, something that feels slightly too risky to say out loud that will probably be controversial. And for the next week, create all of your content around that one belief from different angles. Stop trying to be balanced, be clear, and put a stake in the ground. Now, reason number 2 is you're trying to grow without investing in any distribution. So imagine the most beautiful restaurant in town, incredible food, thoughtful menu, amazing service. You set up this restaurant, but you never put a sign outside. You don't tell anyone it exists. You don't partner with food bloggers. You don't run any ads. You don't collaborate with anyone locally. You just hope that people are going to wander in. That's crazy, right? But that's what most people are doing with their content. They're creating, they're posting, they're hoping, but they're not intentionally putting their brand in front of new audiences. Growth doesn't just happen because something's good. It happens when something good is placed in front of the right people consistently. Here's how you need to shift your thinking. You need to stop thinking only about content creation. Start thinking about content distribution. Pitch yourself for podcasts. Speak in communities. Collaborate with people who already have your ideal audience. Run ad campaigns. Yes, that costs time and money, but if one collaboration or a campaign brings in revenue that outweighs the investment, that's not an expense, it's an investment. It's a business expense and it creates profit for your brand. If one appearance brought you a serious client, that would change your perspective, wouldn't it? The reason number 3 is you're looking for fruit before the roots have grown deep enough. Building a brand isn't fast food. It's more like planting a tree. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up 2 weeks later asking, why isn't this a forest yet? You don't water it for a month and then complain that it's not giving you shade. But that's exactly what so many people are doing with their businesses and their brands. They post consistently for months and then think, why don't I have a flood of clients yet? Why don't I have keynote stages? Why don't I have book deals? And they're comparing themselves to massive brands who have been building for decades and expecting their results to look the same. This is some kind of magical thinking, right? But I get it. We live in a world of instant validation, credit cards on demand, fast food, same-day delivery. It feels good when someone comments, when we get a DM, when we see that little red notification and you're like, oh, that feels so amazing. We get that little hit of adrenaline and validation. It's so addictive. But long-term momentum and growth don't work like that. They come from the compounded effect of clarity and time, from watering the seed every day, from giving it light, from protecting it while it's still small, from creating the right conditions so it can grow strong roots before anyone ever sees the branches. That's how brands grow. You don't dig up the seed every 2 weeks to check if it's working. You trust the process. You keep nourishing it. You keep strengthening the soil around it. If you constantly uproot your message, pivot your direction, or abandon your belief because you didn't get instant validation, you're slowing down your own growth because you're never letting yourself actually get started. Commit to tending the seed. Commit to giving it seasons, not just weeks. If you actually gave this 12 focused months, imagine what could shift. Ask yourself, why you're planting this in the first place. What are you building that's worth nurturing long term? That's where brand stamina comes from. That's where longevity comes from. And that's how you build something that lasts. So before you change your strategy again, and I get it because I've been there and thought, oh my God, I'm done with this. I'm never doing this again. But before you do that, ask yourself, am I chasing comments or likes? Am I building something meaningful that lasts the test of time, or am I just here for a quick win? This work, whether it's about your brand, story, beliefs, or business, is about unbecoming who you were told to be and remembering who you actually are. It's about reclaiming your voice, standing in your mana power, and building a life that is rooted in your whakapapa, the story of how you belong to everything that came before you and which will come after you. We are not simply building brands on this podcast. We are breaking inherited patterns and rebuilding generations. And if that is the kind of work you are seeking, follow the podcast so you do not miss what comes next. You are with Lilia Tarawa on Brand Breaker. Thank you very much. Kia ora.